Welcome back, guys. Today we are working on continuing the assembly of these clutch drums. Right now I'm going through the pistons on each one and replacing the seals on it. I had to build a tool that pushes down on this plate. This kind of slips on here like this, and it pushes down on that plate so you can get the snap ring off. But this kit comes with a spring that goes behind the seal inside that piston to provide extra pressure on it, because this particular drum is known for burning up, so this is one of the fixes that's in the kit. So I'm going to keep moving forward on getting this assembled. I don't know how much of this I'm going to film today because a lot of this is just really time consuming. So I'll just keep updating the video as I go, and there may be some time lapse and there may not. So here we go. According to the instructions, you should be able to air test these clutches. If I can get the drum to line up here. There we go. I don't know if this compressor will have enough to push it. It pushed the piston out when I disassembled it, but I don't know if it has enough force to actuate the piston. Let's see. Yeah, just don't have enough pressure to get it to actuate. It did work before I put it back together though, so I guess we can count that as the test. Let's see if I can get it to work this time, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There we go. It wasn't lying now. Came right out. There's two seals on these. There's an outer and an inner. So I'm going to replace both of them. Alright guys, I got all of the drums and clutch hubs and forward clutch hub and all that good stuff. Everything's dropped back inside the transmission. I've gone through them. I've replaced the seals in the pistons as you saw today, and I also did the modifications that were necessary for the shift kit, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. What we're up to now is the servo, which puts pressure on the brake band. I'm still waiting on a new brake band to show up, and then we're going to move on to the accumulators and the valve body, because there's some modifications that need to be made on this for the shift kit. This shift kit has these wire rings that you probably saw me messing with, and I don't understand what they do, but if I think about it, I think under what they're doing is they're applying a little bit of pressure to these sealing rings so that you can get higher pressures. That's my guess anyway. This has a pretty cool diagram on the back, which is helpful when you're taking your valve body apart, because there's short and long bolts all over the place on it. This drum support also has the wires and the overlapping rings in it. Got those done. The rear support drum does not have any expander wires in it. On the Nissan V8 and the Isuzu diesel, there's no modifications that need to be made to the accumulators. But on the other Nissans and stuff, I guess you got to do that. This has a really odd instructions. Like, there's all this listen up stuff all over the place. As if you weren't nervous enough taking all these pieces and parts and, you know, taking everything apart. It's got all this yelling and screaming stuff on here. I don't know. But, yeah, so the rest of the stuff I have to do has to do with the solenoid feeds and the separator plate and all that. On the rear support drum here, this seems odd to me now, but I'm doing what the instructions say. You have to plug 3 of these holes, and then you leave one open. So then you have to run them below flush, and that's what I did. Supposedly that's supposed to provide the planetaries with a lot more flow of oil, but I don't know how that works, so whatever. Maybe these are bleed offs, and so the pressure increases because that fluid has nowhere to go, so it's just going to dump all over the planetaries, which is one of the things that this kit is supposed to fix. What else? Oh, this right here, you're replacing the ball and spring that's in there and put a new cap on it. So I did that. I already did the pump lever in a different video, a previous video I believe, where I did the oil pump, and they're saying the same thing. They want you to grind off, you know, a small amount on there, and I did that. Yeah, so now we're on to the solenoid or the servo. And what else? I think at that point we can probably do the input case or the output case and shaft and PTO and all that stuff, but like I said, I'm waiting on that brake band, then I can get that reassembled. Oh, I had a Subaru alternator plug laying around that actually fit the speed sensor, so it doesn't lock in, but it does fit on there. So I'm hoping I can test this and figure out what's what on here. I know one's supposed to be power, which is 5 volts from the TCU. One is supposed to be ground and the other one's supposed to be signal. I'm pretty sure the center one is signal, But I'll have to do some testing to figure that out, and then maybe I can hook up that secondary speed sensor when everything goes back together. Another thing somebody was mentioning is don't reuse the transmission cooler that's on the radiator. I've got that covered. I think I am eliminating that, and I ordered a transmission cooler that will sit in the tunnel kind of by the transmission. It's got a fan and a thermostat on it, and then maybe I can hook my gauges up to the lines back there, which is closer to where the fluid is going to be, and maybe I'll get a better reading. I think that this transmission, the original transmission that blew up, had a flow problem because my gauge would never move past 140 degrees, so maybe that was part of the problem, was there was something in there that was plugged up and it wasn't working right. But I'm glad that I'm going through this and I'm learning about it, and it's all starting to make sense to me now after I took it apart and then I'm putting it back together, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you like this episode, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Leave me some comments down in the comments section. I try to respond to everybody. And other than that, I hope you guys are staying safe. Take care of each other. And as always, I'll catch you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.